What up YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you how you can fix a slightly warped bed on your CR10, as well as we'll be switching out the original glass bed for a nice mirror. So let's get into it. So the reason for this video is I actually wanted to switch out my original glass bed from my CR10 for a mirror, because it gives you a lot nicer, flatter printing surface to print on. But the trouble being is that it warps slightly under heat, because it's a thinner glass. I assume it just sags slightly in the middle. So we're going to be using some masking tape and sticking it down in the middle in this case. But I'll also showing you how you can work out exactly where the low spots is in your bed, so you can fix it as well. So let's get straight into it, and let's get preheating the bed. So the reason we want to preheat the bed is it's more likely to show all the sort of peaks and troughs in the bed when it's heated up. But obviously be careful, because it's going to be warm when you're working with it. I set mine to 60 degrees because that's the print temperature I normally work with, but it seems a good temperature all round anyway, so I would recommend setting it to 60 and then letting it warm up. So after you've taken the original bed off and fitted the mirror bed with the original binder clips, you want to take a completely flat object, something like a metal ruler, and that's what I used in my case. And you want to go along with a thin sheet of paper. I found that an old receipt works quite well for this because it's really thin paper. And you want to go through and try and slip it underneath the ruler as it's placed down on the bed. And any areas that it does slip through underneath the ruler, you want to just put a mark each of the like front and back of where those areas are. And you want to go through the entire bed, front and back, left and right, and mark all these areas. So once you've finished doing that, you'll have a nice mapped out area of all the low spots on the bed. In my case, it was right in the middle. So here I'm actually just marking the corners on the actual the aluminium part of the bed to show exactly where the bed was, the actual mirror was, as well as I'm marking the corner of the home, so I know exactly what orientation that it was in, so it can go back on in that same orientation. Next, you want to take out the binder clips and take off the mirror bed. So next you want to go and grab your masking tape, and you want to stick it down in the low spots of the bed. So any areas of the bed that was low, you want to put just a small layer of masking tape, and do this one at a time. So in my case, I've done this one layer here. I then squashed it down with a paint scraper to make sure it was nice and flat, and then I put the bed back on and then tested it again. This prevents you from going too far and actually having a high spot in the bed. Now you want to preheat both your nozzle and your bed to your normal printing temperature and level the bed as you normally would. So in this case, it was actually still too low. So if you've got the same problem, then just take your bed off again and then add another layer of tape. I would recommend alternating the direction so it keeps it nice and even. And then put the bed back on and do the leveling process again. And then if it's fine, then you're fine, good to go to the next step. If not, just keep iterating that until it is. Now you want to clean the bed thoroughly, because you'll have all fingerprints and that kind of thing on it. So I got out the isopropyl alcohol and just went over it with like a paper towel and sprayed that on it and made sure everything was nice and clean before I tried to do a print. When printing on glass, I would recommend doing a nice slow first layer, so something like 20mm a second or 15mm a second, and that way it gives you a good amount of time to try and stick to the bed, and it shouldn't then detach mid-print. Incidentally, the model I'm using to print for this video is just a calibration cube I got off Thingiverse. I'll leave a link down in the description. So as you can see, it sticks really well when it's hot. It started to come up in the corner ever so slightly. That's probably down to my bed leveling not being perfect. But the beauty of this method is that once it's cool, it pretty much pops off the bed. You can actually hear it cracking as it cools, as it's just popping off the bed. I'll put a clip in just here so you can hear that. But yeah, the print came out really nicely. I think for my cases, I'll probably still use a bit of glue just to make sure, because I tend to print bigger things. But for smaller prints, straight into glass actually works really well. So hopefully in the next few videos, I'll be doing some bed adhesion comparisons. I've actually got some Demafix, which I've been meaning to try out for the last 6 months so I'm going to give that a whirl. Also coming up in the next few videos is a video about the Creality Ultra Base for the CR10 also, so I'm going to give that a whirl and see if that's any good as well. And finally, hopefully some more Robot Wars coming soon, so stay tuned for that. But anyway, thanks everybody for watching. If you enjoyed, please like, comment and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. And I shall see you next time. Ta-da!